sloops will actually have a bowsprit out in the front to actually make it so that the jib or genoa, the main head sail, can be larger. Because of the 3 sails, this one is a little bit more to manage, has a little bit more lines to take care of, and because of the stay sail, right there, because of the stay, when you go to tack this boat, turn through the wind, that stay will get in the way of your jib or genoa, maybe giving you problems tacking back and forth. Now this boat will be moderately more difficult to sail because of the tacking that I already discussed, but also because instead of 2 sails, you have 3 to manage. It does give you good, decent windward performance, not as good as the sloop, but still very good. Probably the second of the 4 we're going to look at. One advantage of the sloop is because your sail area is divided into 3 sails, they can each be smaller, so when you go to change sails, you have less heavy work to do. Also, because you have 3 sails, you have more sail options. Depending on the weather, you might reef the main and completely remove the head sail and just sail or just continue on your passage with the stay sail and with the main sail. So the third sail rig we're going to talk about is the ketch. These are very beautiful boats when you see them on the water. They are characterized by a main mast and then a mizzen mast. The mizzen mast will be shorter than the main mast. If they are the same height, then it's called a schooner instead of a ketch. In this video, we're only going to be looking at ketches. So the ketch has 2 masts, 1 head sail, 1 main sail, and 1 mizzen sail. Now, ketches give you a ton of flexibility on your sail plan that you're going to be running for any particular weather, because you could go with just the mizzen and the head sail, and you could reef those or put on smaller ones depending on the weather or what you needed to do. The other advantage to the ketch is because you have 3 sails, they can all be of smaller sizes, so you're not lugging huge bags of sails up every time you need to change. Now, boats under 30 feet, it doesn't matter, but when you get a 45 foot plus boat, you don't want to have to use 2 people every time you want to change the sail, especially if you're sailing single-handedly, and on larger boats, a ketch may be something that you want to look for. So it's going to become important when we talk about the next kind of boat, or the next type of sail rig, but notice here where the rudder post is. In order to be a ketch, the mizzen mast must be in front of the rudder post. On the downside of a ketch, they are one of the more expensive boats to rig because you need a winch, a set of winches for the mizzen, you need a set of winches for the main, and you need a set of winches for the head sail. You would also need halyards for everything, stays for everything, etc. So it's more to put on, more to maintain. But for that, you get smaller sails and you get a more flexible sail plan. The final type of boat we're going to discuss, or the final type of sail plan we're going to discuss, is the yawl. A yawl is again characterized by 2 masts, the main mast and the mizzen mast. The difference between a ketch and a yawl is where the mizzen is located in relation to the rudder post. Notice here the rudder post is behind the mizzen mast. That's what makes it a yawl instead of a ketch. Also, check out the size of the mizzen mast compared to the main. Yawls were traditionally used as fishing vessels because while they were pulling in the nets, they could drop the main sail and the head sail and use just the mast or the mizzen mast or the mizzen sail to steady the boat while they were hauling in the sails. Nowadays, since we don't commercially fish by sailboat anymore, the mizzen mast doesn't do us a whole lot of good. A yawl sails very similarly to a sloop. Notice the size of the sails for the main and the head sail is very similar to that of a sloop. The mizzen does you 0 good going upwind, does you very little good on a reach, and does you no good going downwind. Therefore, the mizzen sail is really almost good for nothing except for steadying the boat. It will help at anchor to keep your boat pointed into the wind. It'll also help balance the boat. If you have weather helm or lee helm, you can use the mizzen to help balance that. Other than that, the mizzen sail really doesn't add a lot to the performance of the boat simply because it's so small. In heavy weather, the mizzen can be used with just the head sail to drastically reduce your sail area and allow you to sail in conditions that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. But the problem with using the mizzen in heavy weather is look where it's sitting, way out here behind the boat, making it difficult to change sails or to adjust sail because of where it's located. So the other thing with a yawl is that you again have the hardware required to manage and hold up two masts and the winches required in order to manage all of the sails for those two masts and the large inventory of sails that you have to keep. Additionally, because the mizzen is so small, the main and the head sail need to be very close to the same size as they would on a sloop. So you're not really getting smaller sails, even though you've added the extra expense of having another mast up. After reviewing the four most common type of cruising sailboats, looking at the advantages and disadvantages of each of them, when I go to look for my own personal boat, I'm really not concerned if it's a sloop, a cutter, or a ketch. As long as it's a well-made boat with a well thought out sail plan for its design, I think they're all basically close enough and they all have their advantages and disadvantages. You'll just sail it based upon the type of rig that you end up with, and I think that they would all be perfectly acceptable and great boats. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like. You didn't like the video, please let me know in the comments why not, so I can do something different next time.